In July of 2019, an anime by the name of Vinland Saga was released. Not many people talked about it at the time until season 2 came out, blowing up in popularity from the "no one has any enemies" edits. I like the show from its choreography, storytelling, animation, and characters. Season 1 felt like a roller coaster. You never had the chance to catch your breath because something was always happening. From Thorfinn vowing to kill Askeladd to Thorfinn losing his goal as he reaches out towards Askeladd's lifeless body. It has always been a fast-paced journey until the farmland arc started, where Thorfinn was made a slave, making the story's pacing a bit slow to most. The farmland arc was so important to Thorfinn's character development, making him understand what his father meant by saying, "No one has any enemies." I enjoyed season 2 a lot because we got a better understanding through Thorfinn's character on how a person's past can affect them. Vinland Saga is an amazing piece of work created by Makoto Yukimura, and I recommend watching Gigguk's interview with the author. The interview gives readers a better understanding on what went through his mind while creating this story, how he was able to shape this story to leave a positive message to the reader about redemption, then have them leave with a negative one about revenge. There is so much hype towards season 3 at the moment because of season 2's foundation with Thorfinn's character. Many, including myself, are waiting to see how this whole story will come to an end. But today, I'm not here to talk about Thorfinn. I'm here to talk about one character, one scene that changed my whole perspective on how to live my life. The scene in which the character also makes a drastic change towards their life, making themselves an integral part of the series as of today. A character who has seen an amazing transformation since his debut and is arguably one of the best character transformations in anime or manga. I am talking about the man named Canute.
神の御業がこんなにも美しいというのに、人間の心には愛がないのか。
When Canute first appeared, I thought he was a she. Don't blame me. Bro was skinny, looked feminine, and had long blonde hair. There was a point where I kept searching up if Canute was a guy or a girl to make sure my eyes didn't deceive me. I thought the subtitles would translate it wrong, since it kept mentioning him being a prince despite looking like a girl. But nope, bro was a dude. In season 1, I thought Canute was pretty pathetic, not speaking a single word, often murmuring until Thorfinn finally got him to speak. He didn't really do much, despite him being an important royal figure of authority, lacking any drive to make his own decisions. He would often be seen with his guardian Ragnar, who catered him like a kid, making sure he was always safe and protected. Abandoned by his father, Ragnar took the role of being his father figure, calling him enough to run away from his problems, leaving Ragnar to deal with them. As long as Canute had Ragnar, he did not need to worry about anything, feeling constantly safe. He could run away from his problems forever until he died. This moment would change Canute forever. He could not accept the idea of Ragnar dying in such a quick notice, refusing to go anywhere without him, even wanting to give up. However, when he went unconscious, he had a dream where he saw Ragnar asking for forgiveness for leaving him on such short notice. Canute and Ragnar expressed how much they love each other, letting Canute have closure before finally waking up. When he awoke, he saw so much reckless fighting, and just like that, he had a complete 180 change of character, becoming this confident Giga Chad that we know today as, leading thousands of men to battle, taking whatever is needed for himself and his people. At the time, I thought this character change was so dumb. How could someone realistically change in a matter of a couple hours, especially when his father figure has just passed away? How could Canute change from being this quiet, timid, pathetic character to a Giga Chad who chooses to go to wars? I don't know why it couldn't get off my mind. It just didn't make sense to me. At the time, I was a pretty shy and an antisocial person, and when COVID hit, it made it even worse. Spending my time at home, having little to no social interaction besides my family members, and watching even more anime was quite a dull life. Still, even after months have gone by, that one scene was still on my mind. I remember laying down on the floor while my dog was barking, thinking, where the did I go wrong? I thought about how Canute's character completely changed in the span of what seemed to be seconds. Anime is not realistic. A show can create characters that connect with the audience, making them feel as if they're real, but they're not. They're characters, not people. People are more complex than a character who has only a limited amount of qualities set to them. I kept wondering if I was able to do the same, to change myself like Canute has done instead of remaining this current, pitiful, thinking self. So I actually did try, and it worked. I was able to get out of this demeaning state of mind, making myself work even at times where I felt it was a lost cause. I started to talk more, go out more with my friends, and even work to improve myself as a person, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually too. Before, I used to think we couldn't make a drastic change like Canute has done, but that is not completely true. We are able to change as people for the better, being able to make changes that improve the lives of others and ourselves because we have free will. As obvious as that may sound, it was not so obvious for myself. You might say, it's because COVID made us isolated that we started to crave social interaction. And that honestly might be true, but I can confidently say this one scene, this one character's actions made an impact on my life for the better. Looking back at Canute's character and Vinland Saga as a whole, I missed out on a lot of details when first watching this scene. Before Canute changes, he talks with the priest, who starts to lose faith in God after seeing the reality of the world is much darker than he had expected. Men killing each other brutally makes him lose hope in mankind, falling into an alcohol drinking addiction. Afterwards, Canute asks, what is love? Is love something that Ragnar felt towards him, or is love the embodiment of death? The feeling to not feel anything, to have gone away from the world's troubles. Is that love? I still am not completely sure on what he means by this, but my best guess is his definition of love is a twisted one, where death is the fulfillment of human suffering. Canute mentions that every beauty that humans were given, the mountains, snow, wind, the sun, were all love from God. What Ragnar felt towards Canute was discrimination, not love, which in plainest of terms means Ragnar disregards everyone including himself to put Canute at the highest position in his eyes. In the Bible, Adam and Eve lived in paradise but were cast out for disobeying God, making their descendants suffer for their original sin. From there on, people have become barbaric, having no love within themselves because they traded for wisdom. So if Ragnar now gone, Canute has no one to love him, but there still is someone who does, the world. Tired of this senseless fighting, Canute believes there is no love since God has abandoned them, so he makes a vow to make a paradise for the people on earth. After stopping to seek God's salvation, we see in season 2 the lengths of how far Canute goes to make his vision come true. Canute's vision reminded me of St. Augustine's ideas about the city of man compared to that of the city of God. The city of man is created for the sole purpose to serve man, but ultimately will lead to a discourse between man as they love themselves, meaning because every man chooses to serve himself, they will fight amongst each other as the superior ruler, which will lead to sinful behavior. While in the city of God, man chooses to serve God, disregarding their own barbaric behavior to seek salvation for eternal life. Meaning, because every man chooses to serve God, they will lead a more peaceful life and after death, will leave the world rather than die with it. Canute plans to create a world where man who has no love can live in paradise once more, regardless on how he gets there. In season 2, Canute has conflict with Thorfinn, where they disagree on how a paradise should be built for mankind. Where Canute takes from others to lead mankind under one man, Thorfinn wants to create a land where man helps one another instead of being enslaved by each other, both wanting the same goal, but yet go about different ways to achieve this paradise they envision. In the Bible, John talks about something similar. If you belong to the world, it will love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. Canute will kill anyone who stands in his way, which I find is similar to that in which St. Augustine and the Bible describe. If Thorfinn does not go along with Canute's plan, he will kill him, similar to if you don't accept the world's ideas, the world will turn its back on you. At the time, I did not realize this was the reason Canute makes a drastic change to his life, but after rewatching it, I wonder what the results would be. There are probably more interpretations about this scene and Canute's character, but for me, this is how I view it. Death is a sad concept, yet it is so poetic since we were created from earthly materials, and in death we shall go back from what we were made of. Later on, Thorfinn reaches towards a similar conclusion, how this senseless fighting is meaningless, and pushes forward for a better future in Vinland. Even after years later, I am still in awe at how much of an amazing series Vinland Saga is, despite not mentioning it a lot. I can't explain how this one scene from Vinland Saga changed me for the better, even though the context for this scene is way different than what I had previously interpreted as. It has still shaped who I am as a person. When season 2 was airing, many were creating edits to preach the idea of having no enemies, while also working to improve themselves as a human being, which was an idea that I implemented on myself long before these edits came out, and I am glad it is helping more people to improve their lives for the better. I'm not here to gloat, but I find it interesting, I guess. Maybe a little. Lastly, if you're someone who thinks it's too late to take action or a lost cause, you're not. We all have our falls, but the most important thing is to get back up. The fight doesn't end when you fall, it ends when you give up. As I previously mentioned in another video, it's better to die trying than not try at all. As silly as this whole video may be, it's true. Vinland Saga really did make an impact on my life. I plan to make a video in the future discussing other events that have made a huge impact on my life, along with some other topics mentioned in this video. Anyway, thank you for listening, and let me know what your interpretation on this scene was about, or think about this video, or what impacted your life for the better. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.